But it is a Tom E. Tuesday here on Jones and Keefe on WEEI. Tom E. Curran brought to you by D'Angelo's Sandwiches, New England Sandwich Shop, and the Sandwich Shop at Jones and Keefe every single Tuesday. FlexCar, save thousands with your flexible car lease at flexcar.com. And by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. If you're hearing this, chances are you're less than 20 minutes away from the closest Awaken 180. A once-a-week lunch break, a quick stop on your way home from work, minutes away from proven weekly weight loss at awaken180weightloss.com. Tommy Curran, how we doing this week?
Hello, fellas.
Hello.
I'm looking at your tears right now.
Oh, good. Oh, what do you think? How do you feel about that? Stand By Me is at the top because that was Christian Gonzalez's. I know you're an insider and you know everything that's going on with the team. We were able to suss that out of him yesterday. His favorite movie is Stand By Me. So that's why that's at the top.
Okay,
I don't know
fair.
how you feel about the tears otherwise. It seems like you're not loving them if I'm reacting in real time.
No, they're fine. No,
Fine.
they're good. They're good. It's very interesting because talked to a kid, Ben Baldwin, who does the tears, but he uses Pro Football Focus and also a lot of his own analysis. I'm going to have a conversation with him on my pod. And I made the point this week that the Patriots are now sniffing around the hindquarters of mediocrity. They're still a bad team. Don't make that mistake. Don't you do it. But they are sniffing around the hindquarters of mediocrity, having gone 2-2 in their last four, and actually being in a position where they could have won the 4 games realistically.
Yeah, well, so that's why we put him in the red zone tier, Tom.
Yeah.
I think we're
some entertainment value there.
Yeah, we're a little more gut reaction than Pro Football Focus rankings or anything like that, but that's why we put him there. But I was going to reference your column this week, and you just laid it out pretty nicely. Your point, though, is not only are they sniffing at the hindquarters of mediocrity, but that also raises the stake and, puts a bigger target on some of the issues and second guesses that you may have for the coaching staff. So what jumped out to you in that regard this week?
I guess what jumped out to me was the lack of a consistent philosophy that we're seeing from the Patriots, unfortunately. What do you want to be? Who do you want to be? If you want to be a team that gambles, well, then I would say being in a 7-0 game or whatever, or 10, whatever the score was when they allowed the 0 blitz to get past the risk reward in that Mayo talked about on Monday. So the risk in that is a touchdown, which is what happened. The reward is either a sack, an incompletion, or an interception, which probably isn't going to be a pick six. So is that risk worth the reward? No, it's not. It's a 16-year veteran thrown to an all-pro wide receiver, and you had evidence from week 2 that even a decent quarterback in Geno Smith will find his all-pro wide receiver and beat you if you leave it open in that way. That's the reason the Patriots really lost that Seattle game, and it's largely the reason that they lost this game against the Rams. You can't lose it all on one play in the first half. And there's, people say, there's a million plays after that. A lot traces back to that. But if you're going to put that kind of risk on something, shouldn't you, on inside the 5, with an opportunity to narrow the gap with the Rams in the third quarter, instead of running Ramondre Stevenson once into the line, twice into the line, and then kicking a field goal, get your athletic quarterback out on the edge on 4th down perhaps, or maybe even on 3rd down when everybody on the planet knows that the Rams are going to stuff that run, and try and make some kind of a play with him where it's run-pass option. So to me, I don't see a cogent we're aggressive, we're not aggressive. And I'm going to keep babbling here because I thought this was interesting. Remember in 2022 when the Lions came in here and they lost 29-0?
Yeah, and they went for it on 4th down like 8 billion times. Yeah.
7 times. They were 0 for friggin' 7. Wow. They went for it on 4th and 9. They were constantly in the Patriots' end of the field. And Dan Campbell later explained, that's who we are, that's how we're going to play. Well, that's who they are now, too, and they're probably the best team in football, at least as they're performing right now.
Yeah, I brought up there was an example from Dan Campbell's first year, and I think it might have been Joe Judge's first or second year with the Giants. And it was on the same day where, neither team had barely won any games, and it was 3rd and 20, and Joe Judge ran like a QB keeper to get a little bit more room to punt. Meanwhile, you flip over to the Lions game, same situation. It was like double reverse flea flicker pass to a tackle. And you're like, look at these guys. And they both ended with 3 or 4 wins. But after watching Sunday's game with the Patriots and the Rams, I'm thinking, man, Gerard Mayo's a lot closer to Joe Judge than he is Dan Campbell.
And it's interesting because if you look at the way that Bill did things, he got to the Patriots with 25 years of head coaching experience. He came with Ernie Adams, his prep school pal, who shared a brain with him and a philosophical brain and could scout teams in a way that was more granular than anybody on the Patriots staff. He came with Charlie Weiss and Romeo Crennel, and they developed Josh McDaniels. So the point I'm making is, in a game, Bill could be more malleable, in addition because he had a better team, but because he knew that everyone around him shared the same philosophy. Mayo is now in his first year as a head coach, his sixth year as a coach. He is attached to Evan Rothstein, who might be talented, might not be talented, no one knows. But he is his main consigliere in terms of game situations. And he's attached to Alex Van Pelt, who might be trying to, at the same time he's developing and showing some aggressiveness, also has the roots of, I don't want to screw this up here either, in his past. And you have DeMarcus Covington, who's spinning the wheel and trying to be aggressive like, Bill could be, or Steve Belichick could be, or Mayo could be, or Flores could be, but he's also got Matt Patricia having worked with him too. So you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're going to get. And I think that, as Phil Perry said, and it's not his quote, but if you're going to be a Bear, be a Grizzly. And I think the Patriots at 3-8 should decide to be a Grizzly. Don't friggin' not go for 2.
Yeah, they're playing like a Sun Bear.
Tennessee.
Sun Bears are the smallest bears.
Go ahead, Adam.
That's what they're playing like. They're playing like a Sun Bear.
I'm riled up.
No, you should be.
A koala bear.
Well, so you were about to get into it there, Tom. There's there was more than 3, but 3 decisions we talked about a lot yesterday on the show, and it was not kicking a 54-yard field goal. It was
didn't hate that.
So just because of the wind or because of Sly, why didn't you hate that one?
So early in the game, do you really want to give Matt Stafford it was a 51-49 thing. I was like, kick it. You don't want to kick it? All right, well, Barrage will have a nice punt. Well, he didn't.
No, he didn't. That's true. That makes it look a lot worse.
Didn't.
The fourth
and net 22 on the punt.
4th and goal from the 2. That one's pretty egregious.
That bothered me a great deal.
Okay, same. And then the other one was not having them re-punt to Marcus Jones and being like, well, we got it at the 10. Could be a lot worse than the 10. I'm like, could it be? Like, the 10's not great.
I honestly, that one slipped through my fingers, and I forgot about that because I looked at it like, what? They just ran down the field, too.
Yeah.
They're tuckered.
They were tuckered. Yeah, that's a good point.
So, those were decisions that absolutely deserve scrutiny. But, again, you can go to the scheme decisions. There's different decisions. There's scheme decisions and game plan decisions, and there's situational decisions. And I think that the Patriots, when they make a game plan or scheme decision, I feel less inclined to criticize because there's information that they have at their disposal that we might not know. But in game decisions and innovation within the game, it gets I don't mind second guessing. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to run a 4th and 1 trick play, you want to put Jalen Polk on the friggin' field and Javon Baker?
Let me just back it up. You're going to run a play. I don't want Jalen Polk on the field. Never mind trick plays. Yeah.
He has twice as many penalties as he does catches since the month of September.
Yikes.
So stop it. Why would you do that? That's a bad decision in the game, in the course of the game. If you want Christian Gonzalez to not shadow Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp because of something you see in your scheme that you think your fellas are going to be overmatched if you don't do it that way, it didn't work out, but I'm not sure it would have worked out better if you did it the other way. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that bothers me. Like the 80-20 stuff, like having Jalen Polk on the field, what's the likelihood they're going to execute that? The most important play in the friggin' game.
Yeah.
So stop it.
Yeah, I would say low. He's Tommy Curran, NBC Sports Boston. Joins us every Tuesday on a Tommy Tuesday here on Jones and Keefe. Tom, I think you already answered this, but I'm going to ask you again. Your Flex of the Week brought to you by FlexCar. Ditch the dealership and save thousands with FlexCar. It sounded like your Flex of the game was the Cooper Kupp touchdown second play of the second half.
Well, I like to go with the Patriots flex.
Oh, okay.
Usually.
Excuse me.
Nice.
This is why I should ask and not editorialize. Yeah. What was it?
No, I love that because we have an open forum here between us, and I think that we all share kind of a brain in the way we look at the game. We might have different opinions on it, but I think that we all see it the same way to a degree. But anyway, I like that one. But I'm going to look at the Patriots and say the flex of the game was Drake May on the first series of the game, seeing a safety blitz, addressing it, and throwing to the player in the perfect spot, reading, diagnosing, throwing it. 30 for 40 for 282 with 3 drops. He's just really friggin' good, and he gets no protection, and it's pretty astounding how well he's playing, and it's more than a snapshot now. So that would be my flex of the game. What did you guys think of the pick? I think everybody put it on Demario Douglas.
No. I think that was on
I put
May.
it on him. I put it on May.
It was on May.
Yeah.
I do too. You're a former college wide receiver.
That's right.
Rich
You
Keefe.
got to catch everything. That's my philosophy. But no, that was behind him.
Douglas,
That was behind him.
there was nothing but green grass ahead of him.
Yeah, no, he hits him in stride, and who knows what's going to happen on that play. So yeah, no, that was on Drake May, but I think most people are to the point where he can finish the game that way, but you still look at him like, oh, man, this guy's better than I thought. Like look at the fun that he's sort of brought to the table, but clearly the turnovers are the one major thing in his game that he has to get cleaned up, right? Like everything else, I know coming into the league, people are like, oh, his footwork is this and that. I'm like, I don't know. Looks pretty good now. He's able to get in and out of the pocket. He hits guys in the hands. They might catch it. They might not catch it. But it is just some of these turnovers, which I think you see with almost every rookie quarterback.
The only turnover, and we can look at the Chicago turnover, but after we hear his explanation, he was trying to throw it out of bounds, and it didn't get there. So he wasn't intending to throw it into a team meeting. So that one I look at and say, let's just throw it out of bounds, you dummy. Mm-hmm. But the only one he looked truly like a rookie, didn't know what he was looking at. Like the only one he didn't know what he was looking at was who the hell did he throw it over the middle to? Houston?
Was it Houston? Houston, he had some bad picks in his first start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one was a bad one. The one down the middle where he Polk, surprise, got undercut. That was a pick. That was but I look at all the picks differently and say, okay, well, it's a downfield throw in the last drive of the game. You don't want that. You want to try and win the game. It's the one thing you can't do at that point. But he's not confused. He's not Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. He's not running around with no concept of what he wants to do, a la Tony Richardson Anthony. I keep calling him Tony, the old Kansas City fullback.
Yeah, he's a Pro Bowler, that guy.
Yeah, nice player.
He's real nice.
But he's a good player. He's fun to watch.
Tom, I'm curious. I know Andy and Christian asked you about this last week. Is Alex Van Pelt safe?
I think so. Based on the returns that he has given through this portion of the season, yeah, he's developed May. We've talked about it. They've talked about it. I do think that the onus is on the Crafts that every single day they show up, figure out how to make their team better. I looked at it today. The top 5 salaries among quarterbacks belong to Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, and Joe Burrow. And then there's a Jordan Love thrown in there. The combined record between those 5 teams is 19-44. They're all making $53 million average APY or above. So the bottom line that I'm trying to make is you got to get the most out of May by the time he is a 5th-year player and you start paying through the friggin' nose. So everybody has to be good right now. So I don't blame the Patriots or ownership for scrutinizing that and trying to decide, do we want Alex Van Pelt to be the guy who leads us going forward? And I think that by the end of the year, we'll conclude, yeah, he's going to be the guy.
The Tyquan Thornton era came to an end, and, he's one of those guys. He's an example where very early in his tenure, there were a lot of people being like, this ain't it, and it's going to be a bust. And you'd have pushback saying, it's too early to call him a bust. And then he ended up being a bust.
Me too.
N'Keal Harry, same thing. N'Keal Harry, early on, there were people saying bust. Like, let's give him a minute. Nope, he was actually a bust. So I circle all the way back to Jalen Polk. It's very, very early in his career, but he's actually trending even in a worse path than Tyquan Thornton and N'Keal Harry, it feels like.
Yeah, it 1,000,000% does. The difference may be that they have Drake May at quarterback, and he's young and he's in the same draft class, and it could help.
Yep.
Let me just roll through for the hell of it. 2nd-round picks like Tyquan Thornton.
Holy mackerel. What a group.
Jordan Richards in 2015, Cyrus Jones in 2016, Duke Dawson in 2018. They didn't have one. Jawan Williams in 2019. Kyle Duggar and Josh Uche in 2020. Christian Barmore in 21. Tyquan Thornton in 22. And Keon White in 23.
No, it's wideouts and corners. Don't draft wideouts and corners. Anywhere else, you're all right. Like, you can go all the way back to
round 3.
No.
No, come on.
Go ahead.
Gino Grissom, Joe Tooney, Jacoby
Gino
Brissett.
Grissom. Yeah, right. I
All
forgot
right,
about
Joe
him.
Tooney.
Yeah.
Joe Tooney, nice player.
Brissett,
Derek
week one starter.
Rivers, Antonio Garcia.
No, less so.
Derek Rivers, Antonio Garcia. Chase Winovich,
No.
Damian Harris, Yodny Kajust.
Not great.
Anthony Jennings, Devin Asiasi, and Dalton Keene.
Eesh.
Ronnie Perkins, Marcus Jones, and Marte Mapu.
I like
I
Marcus
mean,
Jones.
I'm not even get into the first rounders, which would begin with Malcolm Brown in 2015. Just a low yield from the top of your draft.
Low yield is
So
right.
reason why you're a bad team.
There is absolutely a low yield from the top of the draft.
Oh, I saw a wild stat. You want to hear this stat?
Oh, sure.
This-
Yeah, I saw that thing, the Pro Bowl one.
Yeah, somebody made a graphic. I don't even know who it is. Pick'em? I don't know what it is.
NFL Pick'em.
NFL Pick'em. Draft picks that became Pro Bowlers since 2014. So 10 years, your draft picks, what percent made the Pro Bowl? Do you want to take a stab at what percent?
10%.
For the Patriots,
3.8 for the Patriots.
3.3, which ranks where, Jones?
Oh, that's got to be 32.
32nd. 32nd. The Lions, 19.8% of their draft picks become Pro Bowlers. I mean, that's insane. I don't think you could expect 20%. 10% is more kind of in the air. 8% would be good. 3.3%.
Yeah, not great. So, but Tom, I would say
That's all Joe Tooney and Mac Jones. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Mac
all.
Jones,
That's
right?
true.
It shouldn't even count.
Mac Jones should not count.
nuts.
But what's most disconcerting is that a lot of that's Bill, and Bill did not draft well, and I don't think anybody's arguing that. The problem is, outside of Drake May, it looks like that's continuing with this year's draft class. I know it's early to just shut it down, but it looks like it's continuing. That's what's terrifying. I blame Bill for all those drafts, but it might not have just been Bill. It might have been Groh and Wolf too.
1,000,000%. They have skated, and I don't think the early returns on their command of what they're looking at is great. I mean, this was Tyquan Thornton was drafted, and Matt Groh said, if you want to get faster, get fast players. Well, you could have, drafted Skeets Nehemiah. I don't even know who the sprinters are anymore.
Who's the YouTuber who raced?
Donovan Bailey.
No. The YouTube. I love
Houston
speed or something like
McTear.
that. Yeah, who is that guy?
Oh, yeah, that guy. I'm sure he's got
You
good
guys
content.
don't know Houston McTear, do you?
Nope. No,
Houston
I'm out
McTear,
on
no.
that one. Dump it.
I need
Houston McTear was a sprinter in the late 70s. All right, I'm going to send you that. I'm going to send you Houston McTear.
No, I'm more
I'll send
like
you I Show Speed on YouTube.
Carl
Yeah.
Lewis. I can get you there. Michael Johnson was very fast.
Oh, yeah.
Otto
Who's the English
Bolden.
guy began with a Q.
Oh, I don't know that guy. Q? There was a bunch of sprints for a while. Yeah, the 100-meter dash was where it was at for a while.
Or are you thinking of Theo from The Challenge? He was a British sprinter. Is that who you're thinking of?
No.
No, you idiot.
No.
All right, I'm going to find
right.
Quentin. All right, bye.
Let us know. Thank you very much, Tom.
Oh, bye. Okay.
Appreciate that.
Tom,
See you later.
we'll talk to you soon, Tom. Thanks
No,
so
he knew
much.
it was coming to an
Tommy,
end.
you knew it.
Go on a high note.
Pull the ripcord.
I gotta go. I'm out of here. I gotta see you later. Bye. I got an appointment.
You know what? I don't mind that. More guests should do that. You say, okay, I'm out. I'm done. We're done here. I've got nothing else to bring to the table. No, Theo from The Challenge was a sprinter on the British Olympic
Yeah, I don't
team.
remember. I thought you were talking about Theo Vaughn, who was on Road Rules.
No,
and
not
was on
Theo
like one or
Vaughn.
two challenges.
Now a
All right, bye.
massive podcast now.
Oh, yeah. The
Theo Vaughn, yeah.
Theo show's a big show, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, Theo from The Challenge.
There was a pretty
I also
awkward-
believe he now has a glass
No, you idiot.
a glass eye. I think is what he has now.
Theo Vaughn has a glass eye?
No, Theo from The Challenge.
Theo from the challenge. Well, he was a Theo from the challenge. He's probably actually is the
Good
first
point.
Theo from the
Yeah,
challenge.
that's a good. He was probably the
I think
original.
he was on Battle of the Sexes.
That's a good point.
I want to say.
Yeah, no, it's true.